Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting scheduled for this evening, Monday, March 24th, 2014. Before we begin our meeting, we would like to start with our opening ceremonies, which consist of the Pledge of Allegiance, the National Anthem, and a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives while serving our country. Will you please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Good evening, Ms. Bettis. Would you take the roll, please?
Good evening, Your Honor. Mayor Walker, Mayor Pro Tem Lynch,
Here.
Councilmember King,
Yes, here.
Councilmember Squires,
Here.
Councilmember Kerwin,
Here.
Councilmember McCarge,
Here.
Councilmember Sosierski. Here.
Will you please let the record reflect that Mayor Walker is absent and excused this evening?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Item number 4 on our agenda is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by Mr. Kerwin, supported by Mrs. King. Are there any questions or comments from our council? From the general public? Ms. Bettis, if you take the vote, please.
Councilmember Kerwin.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Sosierski.
Aye.
Councilmember McCarge.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lynch.
Aye. I do not have any community events.
Sorry. I was Squires. Sorry.
I don't have any community events this evening. It will be rolled in the next section. We have comments from our state and county officials. I don't see Commissioner Webb here yet. Am I correct? No. So what I'll do is I'll call up Wayne County Commissioner Richard LeBlanc. We'll let him get started.
Thanks for that applause, Mike. Appreciate that. So, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of council, for allowing me to speak for just a moment. I did ask for the courtesy of announcing once again the veteran event that we're hosting about a mile and a half or two away in the city of Westland tomorrow. So, in conjunction with Wayne County, the Westland Veterans Association, Ford Motor Company, and some other folks, we're hosting tomorrow. That's Tuesday the 25th from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m., a veteran event at the Wayne Ford Civic League. And this event is called the No Closed Doors event. And I don't know that Mary explained it last time she was here on my behalf or not, but essentially what it is an opportunity for veterans to hopefully get any question that they may have answered, to get resource where they might not have been able to in the past, but an all-encompassing type of activity. No political speeches, There's not going to be anything that's offered for sale, except for I think some folks have asked to sell some bricks for a veteran placement. But we're hoping that we get as many veterans as we can. As of this morning, we had 41 vendors. So when I say vendors, I don't mean things for sale either. I mean, these are people that are there to help veterans. I'm not aware of an event that had that many ever, really, in this area. So Wayne County is hoping that this will be the model for future activities involving veteran services. We are calling this a pilot. It's free for veterans, for their spouses, for their caregivers, for their families. We would ask that you come. Hopefully we can get help for you in some fashion if that's what you need. At the very least, we're going to feed you. So we'll have food and beverage there at no cost. And there are some folks that have asked since the last time this was announced, what if I don't have my DD-214 and I do want to get a Wayne County veteran card? We will have people there with computers that are skilled in this area that can help you to apply for your DD-214. It'll take about a week to get it. And when you do, we'll schedule an appointment with you at Wayne County near the intersection of Henry Rough and Michigan to get a personalized card. So with that, I thank you for the opportunity to mention it. If there are questions involving that event, I'd be pleased to respond. Nothing? Well, you're all invited too. I did say no political speeches, but any politician or appointed official that does choose to attend will get recognized at the very beginning. We're hoping then that when they raise their hand, somebody in the audience may say, I need to speak with that person and find you. But again, 5 to 9, and I'll see you in just a few more minutes. Thank you.
Okay. And next, I'd like to call up our illustrious state representative, Mr. David Kniezek.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, Mayor Pro Tem, and good evening to members of the council and the administration. Just a brief update for some folks today. I know I mentioned at previous council meetings my legislation to remove the R word from Michigan's laws as it relates to our kids and other folks. That is going to be signed into law this Friday. I'll be with the governor in Lansing for that bill signing. Very happy about that. Secondly, and again, I know this is high on everyone's priority list nowadays. I can't tell you how many phone calls I got from Mayor Walker, that I got from Chief Murray, that I got from members of the council saying, David, we need some money for the roads down here in Garden City. So I'm very happy, very pleased to announce that within 2 weeks' time, we've got $101,000, or rather $101,498.62 coming home here to Garden City to help take care of the road problem. Is it enough? Absolutely not. Is it a good start? I'm happy with that, absolutely. So hopefully it's more to come on that end. Secondly, well actually third, I guess. This last week we passed some legislation in Lansing as it relates to scrap metal theft, really tightening down the rules and restrictions that we have on scrap metal theft here in the state. No longer are you going to be able to walk in with anything more than $25 and get cash on the spot and walk out the door when you're turning in like the Garden City manhole cover to try and get some cash, right? So we're putting a stop to that. Again, is it perfect legislation? No, it's not, but it's a great step in the right direction. We know with a lot of these abandoned homes, these foreclosed homes, folks are going in, stripping all the copper out, walking into these scrap metal places and walking out with a lot of money in their pockets. And hopefully we're going to see that mitigated here in the future. Finally, and again, I know I mentioned it at previous meetings, Garden City was recently honored as one of the 50 safest communities in the state of Michigan. I do have a tribute here that I'd like to present to the Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. And so I'd invite anybody who wants to be in the beautiful picture to come out from around the podium here and allow me to present this to you guys and honor the great work of our police and firefighters here in Garden City. That's my update for this evening.
Yay.
Come on around.
Let's all join, girls.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No. Chief Harmon, could you join us up here? Oh, yeah. Could you join us up here, please?
Now the website.
Thank you, Mr. Knizek. That's something we can definitely be proud of. I'd like to go back just a second and call up what was our former Wayne County Commissioner, but still current Wayne County Commissioner, Diane Webb. And I'd like to also ask Commissioner LeBlanc to join her.
Commissioner? Yeah, kumbaya.
Well, I appreciate you very much for allowing me the honor to come back here and do this resolution for my dear friend Gomer Goins. And I appreciate the fact that my colleague Richard also let me kind of come back into his territory now and allow me to do this. And this is a resolution from both of us. And I don't normally read an entire resolution, but in this case, if you'll allow me,
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. I had to catch my breath, I'm sorry, I had to literally run here, literally. Okay. We always start a resolution in memoriam with a scripture from the Bible. So, rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, I lift up my soul. Psalms 86:4. Whereas we, the members of the Wayne County Commission, solemnly pause today to honor the memory of the late Gomer Goins, an incredible man and dedicated public servant who departed this life on Thursday, March 13, 2014. And whereas the Wayne County Commission, along with his family and many friends, celebrate the life of Gomer Goins, known widely as a God-fearing Southern gentleman who was loved by many for his genuine friendship and goodwill. Whereas Gomer was born on October 1st, 1926 in Knott County, Kentucky, to parents Cass and Ritter Goins, and was raised in a holler of Thornton Creek, Kentucky, with a sister and 3 brothers. And whereas Gomer Goins began his journey of service to others at 17 years old when he joined the U.S. Army during World War II, served with distinction, and was honorably discharged in 1946. And whereas Gomer Goins went on to marry the love of his life, Maxine Tolliver, in January of 1948, the couple was blessed with 2 loving children, LaDonna and Mitchell, and 2 precious grandchildren, Joseph and Amanda, all of which he held closest to his heart. And whereas Gomer Goins, after returning home from the war, joined the workforce as a coal miner in the hills of Kentucky, and continued his mission to improve the quality of life for others by helping to organize the United Mine Workers Union. After moving to Michigan, Gomer was hired by General Motors Cadillac Division, where he worked for 48 years. During his tenure at GM, he continued his fight for the working middle class as an active member of the United Auto Workers Union, where he rose through the ranks and was elected plant chairman representing Local 22, and was the first plant chairman ever elected to 2 consecutive terms. Gomer went on to serve as a national negotiator for the 1970 UAW contract. Gomer was a lifelong member of the Democratic Party and a revered campaign organizer for congressional legend John D. Dingell, former Congresswoman William Rivers, as well as a host of others that he believed were committed to serving the people. Whereas Gomer practiced his good and charitable works in his personal life as a dedicated member of and past master of the International Order of Freemasons, and was a member of the Shriners Association. Gomer held dear his Southern roots and was a proud member of the Kentuckians of Michigan Incorporated. And if you knew Gomer, you knew about that. Each year, Gomer participated in the Wayne County Senior Olympics, winning medals in both horseshoes and bowling. He was a regular speaker here at the Garden City Council meetings and attended almost every public ceremony held in his community. The city of Garden City benefited in many ways from his leadership, his professionalism, and his dedication to the community. And whereas Gomer Goins touched the lives of all he came in contact with in a meaningful and memorable way. His passing created a void in many lives, and his life will be cherished forever in many hearts. Gomer was laid to rest by the church he so revered, the Free Will Baptist Church in Westland, surrounded by those that loved him most. Therefore, be it resolved on this 20th day of March 2014 that this resolution be spread at length on the Journal of the Day's proceedings to endure as a lasting record of acknowledgement and remembrance for the life of Gomer Goins, and that a copy be presented to the bereaved family. He will long be remembered as an outstanding man who shared the gift of love with all he encountered. And if you would allow me to, his granddaughter Amanda is here, and I would love to bring her up. Oh, and so is his daughter and his son. I didn't even see all of you. Come on up.
We can even just be.
And where's Mitch? Oh, there's Mitch. Come on up, Mitch. And we got 2 copies, so you can take one to each house. And so this is for all of you, and I just want to tell you that your dad was my hero. But he usually made everybody laugh. But when he was serious about something, he let you know. If you were doing it right, he let you know. If you were doing it wrong, he let you know. Right? Most of the time he made us laugh.
You could probably all guess that he's in heaven in front of some sort of council giving his opinion. As Amanda says, she thinks he's become a Walmart reader.
If I may just offer a brief comment regarding Gomer. So
Yes.
when Gomer passed away, we had this phone call in the office, and I wasn't there at that exact moment, staff was. And so Jay was on the phone with Diane for probably 20 minutes while Diane was explaining how important this was. That Diane, who's known him so many, many years, could she please have the privilege of doing this in my district? And it went on and on and on and on. And Jay, when he finally was able to get a word in, said, yes, I can guarantee that'll happen. When we did this formally this past Thursday, last Thursday at the county, we both offered comments. And I want to share just one of them that I made. I said, you know, I've known of Gomer for longer than I've known Gomer. And I think maybe there's other folks in town that could say that. But I knew that he was from the Holla. I knew that he was a Kentucky gentleman. And I knew that sometimes it would seem as though Gomer took a while to say what he wanted to say with his drawl and his conviction. And sometimes it might be a week later, but you would just think, wait a second, I think he got me. And Diane said, yes, that's right. But anyway, I know that we each have a fond opinion of Gomer, and I appreciate that we were allowed to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Appreciate that much.
I'd also like to call up from the Senior Alliance, Brenda Brotherton. Or maybe we won't. Brenda Brotherton?
Senior Alliance.
She's not here?
Regarding the Cardi tour, do you think?
Good.
The Mardi Gras?
I don't think so. Okay, well then we will move along. Item number 8 on our agenda is public hearings. We have the second reading of the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, application for the 2014 funding. Is there any questions from our council regarding this? Any questions from the public? And I'll ask one more time, any questions from the public? Mr. Bacco?
Explain it, what is that?
This is the funding, the federal funding that we get, that we're able to do the housing rehab. That's the bulk of it in this particular budget, but it's the federal funding that we get to turn around and help people that need the help. Okay, then let's move into section 9, our consent agenda. Do we have a motion on this one?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Support.
It was moved by Councilmember McCarge, supported by Councilmember Squires. Are there any questions or comments from our council? Oh, before we go on, Mrs. McCarge, would you please read the reappointments for us?
I move to confirm the mayoral reappointment of John Jones to the Recreation Commission with a term to expire March 31st, 2017. To confirm the mayoral reappointment of Marvin Budka to the Recreation Commission with a term to expire March 31st, 2017. To confirm the mayoral reappointment of Dawn Fry to the Recreation Commission with a term to expire March 31st, 2017.
In the zoning board?
Larry?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem, could you do these individually? I mean, are we going to vote on these individually?
There's already a motion on the floor.
The motion on the floor is that we accept the consent agenda.
Right, but can we vote on them, or
We would have to vote on the motion first unless you want to rescind the motion and start all over again. Is there one in
Individually,
Well, I have
you
one
to-
person that I cannot vote for,
Okay,
being of sound mind.
Okay.
I think I am. So I can't vote for that part, but everything else is good, so.
So we have to not, the consent agreement, I mean, a
We
consent
would have-
agenda has to be
Rescinded.
Or he just votes no.
rescinded.
or you can just vote no and you will know that you're voting no on the one person. It's up to you.
Okay, I'll just vote no.
Okay. Would you read the zoning board, please?
Okay. I move to confirm the mayoral reappointment, I'm sorry, I picked up the wrong one, to confirm the mayoral appointment of William Hamilton to the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to expire March 31st, 2017. To confirm the mayoral reappointment of Anthony Richard to the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to expire March 31st, 2017.
Okay, and we have number 3, but I think that we could take the vote first and then do number 3 publicly, if that's okay?
And I'm sorry, the support was,
Mrs. Squires.
thank you.
Okay, any questions or comments from our council? From the general public?
Any comments?
No.
Ms. Bettis, if you would take the vote then?
Councilmember McCarge.
Aye.
Councilmember Squires.
Aye.
Councilmember Ciserski.
Aye.
Councilmember Kerwin.
I'm going to vote no because of the inquisition of Anthony Richard.
Yes, sir. Councilmember King.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lynch.
Aye. And if we could then do item number 3, it's a resolution of recognition for Craig Sylvester, otherwise known as Sly.
I don't have, do you want me to do it?
It's on our agenda.
Could we ask his lovely wife, Gwen, to also join?
I never get to do this, so this is my absolute pleasure. A resolution of recognition from the City of Garden City. Whereas Craig Sylvester, police officer for the Garden City Police Department, will retire on April 1st, 2014, after more than 35 years of commendable service to the City of Garden City Police Department and the City of Garden City. Whereas Craig began his career with the City of Garden City on July 10, 1978, I'm not sure as a patrolman for the Garden City Police Department. And whereas Craig has received numerous employee recognition awards from his fellow police officers, police chiefs, citizens, high school administration, and students throughout his many years of service. And whereas through his many years of service, Craig has served the people of the City of Garden City with fairness and dedication. Now, therefore, may it be resolved that the mayor and city council of the City of Garden City, on behalf of all its citizens and its employees and me, do hereby present this resolution of recognition to Craig Sylvester, extending our best wishes to him and his family for much success and happiness in the future.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the Oh, that was the one I thought was supposed to happen at that time. Okay, Commissioner LeBlanc, come on up.
Thank you. Slide.
Back to the podium, please. That's what I was waiting on.
Tell us.
So while they're coming up here to join me at the lectern, I just wanted to say that, you know, I haven't known Sly as long as everyone else does, or has rather, but there is a thing in common, I suppose. My brother-in-law, Chetty, hired in about a week or two before Craig did, and I remember the day my brother-in-law hired in, and he's been out of the department for a while. He was fortunate enough to retire a little while back. But, you know, when I think about 1978, I had a lot of hair. It was brown and it was in an afro, and there was a lot of it, and he still looked about like that, maybe a touch less gray. And look at that, he's still got all his hair and it's dark. I'm kind of jealous. But without belaboring it, I just wish to say thank you for your dedicated service to this community. It is always a tremendous honor and joy when we as politicians and decision makers get to see the fruit. And you know, you plant the seed, sometimes you take flack for it, but when you get to see public safety people retire and enjoy everything that they have earned, I think it's awesome. I really do think it's incredible. And on behalf of my colleagues, we adopted this resolution previously. We hope that you might find a good place for it. If not, it's the resolution. It's a beautiful frame. And I just wish you the very best in your retirement. It's the most appreciated. You see who works for who. This is yours. You can hold it, by the way.
All right, 1, 2, 3. One more, open your eyes.
Thank you both. And thank you again.
Thank you. Okay, now we're back on track. Moving into the study session, number 1 is Washington, D.C. update.
Mayor Pro Tem, if we could invite Ms. Monica Fulton to the podium for this Washington, D.C. update.
We'd love to.
Mrs. Fulton went to Washington.
Thank you for this opportunity. Not only do I want to give you an update on the trip to DC, but I'd like to start by saying that if we didn't have such an incredible level of cooperation and collaboration with our partners at Garden City Hospital and Garden City Schools, I would not have been invited to Washington, D.C. to highlight our city at a workshop to city leaders from all around the nation. Dr. Stan Shodka from Garden City Schools and Catherine Chamberlain from Garden City Hospital, as well as our city manager, have been instrumental in helping to make the Healthy Kids, Healthy Community Task Force such a success. We are very, very fortunate that Dr. Klein, Mr. Lay from the hospital, and Mr. Muri support their employees' involvement in this task force and all the work that goes with that. I need to brag about the rest of the task force members for a moment too. This group of people from all the sectors in our community, they're absolutely fantastic. We have council member Margo Sosierski, Dennis Kampelansky from the Parks and Rec Commission, Mike Farron from Prestige Eyewear, Julie Slayball from Kiwanis, Shelley Reck from J Child Development Center, Wilma Healy from Rotary, John Campbell from Garden City McDonald's, Pastor Parker from Merriman Road Baptist Church, Marsha Hollins from our local Department of Human Service office, Teresa Harrington, who's from Wayne Metro Service Agency and the Garden City Head Start program, Deborah Wendt from the local WIC office, Neva Nahan from Wayne State University, Maureen Sorbet from LNS Associates, and Dan York, of course, of OmniVision. These dynamic people are creating an absolutely fantastic outreach project that is getting us noticed on a national level. And we're not even finished developing it yet. It's very exciting. This community-wide project and the level of collaboration we have across all the sectors in the community is what got Garden City noticed. It wasn't me, it wasn't just one person. It was this entire group of agencies and individuals that are working together. So I want to thank all of our task force members, some of whom are here tonight, for all of their contributions and hard work. We would not be this successful without you. Thank you. I'd also like to tell you a little bit about our accomplishments to date. I'm sure some of you are pretty curious. The task force is currently at its the midpoint of the planning phase of this project. As a result of the community survey that we conducted last month, we have found that approximately 10% of the children in Garden City who are eligible for low-cost or no-cost insurance are not enrolled in any insurance. This means that approximately 300 to 400 children in Garden City in our community are at risk by not having health insurance coverage. The survey also gave us some information about the community's perception of barriers to enrolling in low-cost or no-cost insurance programs. The barriers include the following in ranked order, top to bottom. Number one, dealing with Department of Human Services as a barrier, not knowing that they're eligible for those insurance programs, not knowing how to apply for those programs, not wanting to ask for help, and not having the proper paperwork. We're all at the top of the list. Health insurance is crucial to the success of a developing child and the financial health of our families. Healthy children and healthy families is the goal here, and without ready access to health care, children and families are at risk. There is a cost to the child, the family, and by default the community, in terms of missed school, missed work, limited student achievement, opportunities, vocational readiness, and it interferes with parents' employability in that they are burdened with the challenges of managing sick children. Intervention at this basic level of enrollment opens up opportunities to health and prosperity that might otherwise be lost. So during the remainder of the planning phase, the task force will be developing a vision statement, identifying goals and objectives, and fully developing the details of our outreach campaign and an enrollment assistance project that will reduce the number of uninsured children in our city. We will be submitting a business plan to the National League of Cities by June 1st in hopes of being one of the 6 communities they will select to receive funding to actually implement the project that we're planning. So, now for the good stuff. An overview of my trip to Washington, D.C., and Catherine Chamberlain joined me there as well. The invitation to speak at the National League of Cities Congressional Cities Conference was completely unexpected. Catherine and I were already scheduled to travel to D.C. for the mandatory cross-site meeting of the 12 communities that are involved in the planning phase right now. And this initiative is called Cities Expanding Health Access for Children and Families. I was asked to arrive a day early so that I could co-present a workshop at this national conference. The workshop was about how city leaders can strengthen their cities and their communities by strengthening families. Dennis Compa from the Annie E. Casey Foundation was the primary presenter, and he had asked the National League of Cities to locate somebody who was available to represent a smaller sized community. He spent his entire career before joining Annie E. Casey in San Antonio, Texas. Actually, in their Department of Human Services, that city's so big they have their own DHS office. So he wanted someone that could represent a smaller sized community so that elected officials that were at this conference could relate to his message if they were from a smaller community. So the team at National League of Cities immediately thought of Garden City and the work we're doing to connect families with access to health care. So I got the call. It was a 3-hour workshop that I was co-presenting, and it was attended by over 50 officials from around the nation. I had anticipated 30, so 50 was a little overwhelming. Mr. Campa talked about how cities are strengthened when they work to connect their residents to benefits and the importance of having public policies that support that work. I was able to talk about the history Garden City already has of connecting its residents to county nutrition benefits, CDBG programs, the AARP's tax assistance program. And the elected officials that were in attendance were also interested in how the city supported the Family Resource Center and the services it provides. And of course, I highlighted our recent involvement in this initiative to expand health access for children and families. And I was able to highlight how well all the sectors in our community were collaborating through the task force. They were impressed, to say the least. Mr. Campa wrapped up the workshop with a discussion of how the city of San Antonio supported the tax assistance program in his city and the amount of money its families were able to get back in tax refunds, which the families then had available to reinvest in the local economy. So I learned something that day as well. He pointed to how providing support programs for families in town can strengthen a cities in ways a balance sheet cannot reflect. The team at National League of Cities reported they got great feedback about the workshop and that the city officials were very moved by the importance of cities working to strengthen families. And the National League of Cities team was very grateful that I was able to co-present, and I was just grateful that it went so well. So Catherine arrived in DC later that day, and we were ready to begin the cross-site meeting with the other 11 communities. Garden City was actually slated to be a member of the Innovative Practices panel during that training. The panel consisted of 3 cities that the National League of Cities identified as utilizing some innovative ideas. I was asked to speak about the online community survey that we conducted and the way that we use social media to push it out to the community. So as you may know, we use the city and school Facebook pages and websites, the school's e-blast system and Twitter account, the local church listservs, the city's municipal channel, and of course city council meetings to get the word out to residents. The fact that this was a digital survey allowed for quick, easy, and real cost-effective analysis of the data. Catherine and I learned while at that training that no other community was using the technology like we did. Amazing. In fact, the team from Pittsburgh specifically asked to be paired with Garden City at our breakout session to learn all the ins and outs of this online community survey and the use of the social media. Pittsburgh. So the use of technology and the social media was actually Dr. Shaka's idea, and he, Neva Nahan, and Dan York made it all possible. This is a great example of the cross-sector collaboration we enjoy in Garden City. Not every community has that benefit. I need to extend an extra special thank you to Garden City Hospital for making it possible for Catherine to attend the training with me. All the travel, lodging, and meal expenses were paid for by the National League of Cities, but it's important to note that the hospital agreed to Catherine's time away from the office and her work with the mobile health unit. Mr. Gary Lay continues to support her full participation in this project, and I am very grateful for that. I also need to thank Catherine for keeping me calm and sane when our shuttle driver was late picking us up to get us to the airport. And of course, I need to extend my appreciation to our city manager for his continued involvement in the project, not just support, but involvement, and to our mayor and council for their support of this as well. And I can't forget my team at the Family Resource Center and at Maplewood Center for holding down the fort while I was away, and as I continue to move through this process. And of course, my family, if I may. My husband is always a trooper when I have to travel away from home for projects like this. And I'm also grateful to my mother for helping him get my kids off to school and to all their activities in the evenings. And my kids even adapted to the way that Dad does things. So, thank you, everyone. I have just one last thought I'd like to share with everyone. I've been working for the city for a little over 18 years now, and I've had the opportunity to see how other communities in the state and across the nation struggle to get the collaboration and cooperation between the sectors that Garden City does with ease. For example, some cities I've encountered do not have positive working relationships with their school district, or maybe with their business community, or maybe with their religious organizations. We don't have that problem here, as the work on this task force shows. I've also seen how other communities struggle to keep projects moving due to turnover in administration or fractured relationships between the residents and the administration. We don't have that problem in Garden City. Many communities can't say that their police chief or city manager was raised in town as a graduate of a school district, or that the Parks and Rec director lived in town her whole life and started working for the city at the age of 14, or that the guy in charge of promoting the city grew up in town and knows everybody and everything about the city. And our residents, they are bonded to this community like no other community I've come across. When I first started working here, working with families at the Family Resource Center, Youth Assistance, I was amazed at how many parents I met who had been born and raised in Garden City and returned to Garden City to raise their children. This kind of living history across all the sectors of our community helps us accomplish things that many communities our size struggle with. What Garden City has is unique and very, very special. Sometimes it's taken for granted, but I think it's important for our community to remember that even though we're small, we work together to accomplish big things and to truly be a great place to call home, like our motto says. That's all I have. Thank you for all that time. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I'd just like, on behalf of council, to thank you for representing us so well.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, item number 2, the budget 2014-15, unless there's comments to be made.
Your Honor, I just want to mention that before you is the proposed budget. As required by charter, I have to have it to council at a regular meeting prior to April 1st. It's a balanced budget. It presently reflects less than 1% increase over the previous year's budget, about $124,000. I do want to make it clear, more for the public than council, because I think council understands this, that this is by no means a finished product. We have a number of things we still have to experience. We have ongoing negotiations with labor unions. We just held our board of review. We need to see what the results are there and the impact it'll have on us. Of course, water rates we're having the audit performed right now and a forecast, and that'll be down the road, in addition to all of the public budget meetings that we have planned. So this is, as I say, by no means the end product. This is the beginning. And I look forward to your comments, and I believe our next scheduled special budget meeting, or budget meeting, is April 1st, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
Yes,
Tuesday, April 1st.
April 1st at the
Yes.
police department. So April Fool's Day has been pointed out. Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, see agenda?
See.
Item number 3, the Community Development Block Grant application. We had that on for a public hearing.
Yeah, there's nothing further that needs to be done.
Nothing this
It's
evening.
just required, it is.
Okay, so let's move on to item number 4, Lathers Avenue Reconstruction Project.
C.
Change order 1 and 2. C. Item 5, Garden City Transportation Asset Management Plan.
See?
C. Would we like to hear something on this particular plan? See? Okay. And number 6, the Michigan DNR project agreement, Ice Arena locker room expansion.
C.
I think for the purpose of our residents, maybe we could have, is Hennessy speak on it for just a few minutes?
For the locker room expansion?
Yes.
Mr. Plamondon might,
Oh, there he is.
Tennessee
He
will
was
take the
kind of-
bullet, Tennessee.
Mr. Plamondon was in line with another person. I didn't see him back in the corner. If you'd like to come up and join him.
So when you want me to talk about the transportation asset management plan, or is that what you
No,
want?
No.
Locker room.
Locker room.
Locker room is what I thought that the residents would like to hear about, but we could also talk about Tampa.
Don't go anywhere.
Just for our residents, so that they understand what's going on.
Sure, absolutely. So where we're at right now in terms of the grant that the city has been awarded, there was over 90 applications for the Recreation Passport Grant through the Michigan DNR. Of the 90 applications, I believe it was 10 or 11 cities were recipients. Garden City was one of them. Project is for Ice Arena locker room expansion, which will construct one locker room at this time. We have very preliminary drawings in place with Hennessy. Ray Parker is the engineer from the firm that we've worked with to this point. We have a meeting scheduled for this Thursday, myself and Ray, to discuss putting together the RFP pack. And why it's on the agenda for tonight is there's a project agreement that's required by the DNR that requires an adopted resolution. That's council, the mayor, and the city accept the project agreement and the terms of the agreement in order for us to move forward, so we can start incurring expenses for the project. The grant is for $45,000. It requires a 25% match. Now, I will say the total project cost, as it states in the project agreement, is $56,400. Of that amount, 25% equates to $14,100, which would be 25%. That's what is required as part of the grant application and as part of the project agreement.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
Mayor Pro Tem, I just want to point out something so it's very transparent. That in the beginning, when we came before council with this, I believe we had said that the city's portion would be 11,000, 12,000.
11,250.
All right. Because we thought that we had to come up with 25% of the grant amount.
Correct.
As it turned out, we have to come up with 25% of the total project account. So that's how we came to go up by a few $1,000s here. I just want to make sure council's well aware of that. That it doesn't, wouldn't want anybody to say we're pulling any shenanigans.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move into our C agenda. Item C1 would be the budget 2014-15. Mrs. Squires?
Yes, I'd like to move to receive the city manager's fiscal year 14-15 proposed budget.
Support.
Moved and supported by council members Squires and Sisirski. Are there any questions or comments from our council? From the general public? Yes, sir?
I want to thank our chief manager, Mary, about mentioning last time that we're going to have these budget meetings, and he invites the public to come and ask questions. And that's a good idea, and I thank him for that. I really do. Yeah, he's a good listener and a good follow-up. It's probably the best we've had in years in our city.
Thank you. Anyone else from the general public?
Mayor Pro Tem, if I could mention
Sure.
also, has this already been posted on the website, or is that a tomorrow thing?
We think that's a tomorrow thing, and so it's ready to be posted
But
on the internet.
this proposed budget will be made available to the public via the website.
Okay, so anyone that's interested in looking at all the details in it, go to the city website, www.gardencitymi.org. Okay.
And my office welcomes any questions.
Okay, Ms. Bettis, would you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Squires?
Aye.
Councilmember Sosierski?
Aye.
Councilmember McCarge?
Aye.
Councilmember Kerwin?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lynch?
Aye. Item number C2, the Lathers Avenue Reconstruction Project, change order 1 and 2.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Councilmember Sosierski.
I move to approve and authorize the city manager to sign change orders number 1 and 2 to the contract with CI Contracting of Brighton, Michigan for the Lathers Avenue Reconstruction Project as described in correspondence dated March 4, 2014, in the total increase of $23,560.20.
Support.
It was supported by Councilmembers Sosierski and Kerwin. Any questions from our council? Mrs. King.
Yes, just a question regarding it, because the two orders, were those a cause? And I think, Mr. Mayor, you could probably answer that for me.
I'm
Was
sorry,
that,
I didn't hear your question.
regarding this, isn't that with the level, they had to redo the levels?
One of them was, as I recall.
But is that an error that we should be paying for?
I'll let Mr. Kern speak to that.
Mr. Kern?
There are two change orders in front of you. One has to do with the Bach Avenue project in regards to 7 sanitary service leads that were in conflict with the proposed storm sewer. We don't know the elevations of the sanitary service leads prior to starting construction. Those depths vary. So that involves that change order. The second change order was on ladders, which involved the placement of a geotextile fabric, basically to provide stabilization for the roadway and to basically not mix the subgrade, the silt and clay subgrade in with the aggregate base, as we ended up removing the entire width of the roadway. Originally, we were going to only widen half width of the roadway and allow traffic to use the existing concrete on the northbound lane. However, with the condition of that road, as you know, prior to construction, as we started construction, let traffic use that lane, and just tore it up. So we decided to remove the entire road, and that was the cause of the fabric being placed down.
Okay, any other questions? Nothing else from our council? Thank you, Mr. Kern. Any questions from the general public? Mr. Baco.
How come it's always expensive of money? Is it money?
Yes, it was an increase in the cost, yes.
How many
Mr. Baco, when you go digging underneath the ground, sometimes there are things there that you don't realize are there. And the pipes that are at certain levels, that's what we had to deal with. Thank you.
I'll just note that even with the increase in construction, overall engineering and topographical survey and design, that we are under budget. It appears that we'll be under budget by about $50,000 to $60,000 on the project. So even with this increase in construction, we will come in under budget on the project.
That's excellent. Thank you for the good news. Anything else from the general public? Ms. Bettis, if you take the vote, please.
Councilmember Sosierski?
Aye.
Councilmember Kerwin?
Aye.
Councilmember McCarge?
Aye.
Councilmember Squires?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lynch?
Aye. Item C3, the Garden City Transportation Asset Management Plan.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve the attached revised resolution accepting the Garden City TAMP and to authorize the transfer of no greater than 50% of major road funds to the local road fund.
Support.
Moved and supported by Council Members King and Squires. Are there any questions from our council?
Your Honor, I think I'd like to have Mr. Kern come up for a moment on this, if that's acceptable.
Certainly.
Back in, I believe it was November, I came in front of council to submit the Transportation Asset Management Plan to the State of Michigan Transportation Asset Management Council for approval. They have since approved that asset management plan, tentative upon the revised resolution that's in front of you. They asked for some specific wording within that resolution. Part of that resolution is, and part of the reason to do the asset management plan is the ability to transfer money from the major Act 51 major road fund to the local road fund. And in that resolution, it states that we're looking to transfer up to 50% of the major road fund as a local road fund. Recently, we identified that the city is eligible to actually transfer 100% of the major road funding as long as the Act 51 requirements are made. As we've submitted the asset management plan now stating that it would be up to 50% of a transfer, there's the potential to complete the Florence Avenue project. We may need to transfer additional funds. So I may be back in front of you later this year if that's the case after the bid opening of the project, that we may need to transfer more funds, and it appears that we can do so. And we can revisit that at any time, and we can revisit the asset management plan at any time if any revisions are needed to be made.
Good to know. Thank you.
That was all I wanted him to cover, Mayor.
Further questions from council? From the general public? Ms. Bettis, if you take the vote, please.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Squires.
Aye.
Councilmember Sisirski.
Aye.
Councilmember McCarr.
Aye.
Councilmember Kerwin.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lynch.
Aye. And item C4, the Michigan DNR project agreement, ice arena locker room expansion.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Councilmember McCarge.
I motion to approve the project agreement between the City of Garden City and for the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, DNR, for the locker room expansion at the Civic Ice Arena, and to authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents as required by the state.
Support.
Moved and supported by council members McCarge and Sisirski. Are there any questions or comments from our council? From the general public? Ms. Bettis, if you take the vote, please.
Councilmember McCarr.
Aye.
Councilmember Sisirski.
Aye.
Councilmember Kerwin. Councilmember Squires.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lynch.
Aye. Thank you. That ends our C agenda, and we move now into public comment. No, Mr. Plamani, before we move into public comment.
Sorry, one of the requirements of the approval was an adopted resolution. I believe there's a resolution at the end of the agenda item.
I believe
Someone
so.
would be so kind to read that.
Sure. Mrs. Squires, would you read that, please?
Okay. Whoops. Upon the motion made by Councilmember McCarge, seconded by Councilmember Sisirski, the following resolution was adopted. Resolved that the City of Garden City, Michigan, does hereby accept the terms of the agreement as received from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, and that the City of Garden City does hereby specifically agree, but not by way of limitation, as follows. Number 1, to appropriate all funds necessary to complete the project during the projected period, and to provide $14,100 to match the grant authorized by the department. Number 2, to maintain satisfactory financial accounts, documents, and records, to make them available to the department for auditing at reasonable times. Number 3, to construct the project and provide such funds, services, and materials as may be necessary to satisfy the terms of said agreement. Number 4, to regulate the use of the facility constructed and reserve under this agreement to assure the use thereof by the public on equal and reasonable terms. And number 5, to comply with any and all terms of said agreement, including all terms not specifically set forth in the foregoing portions of this resolution.
Thank you.
So if there are no objections, I'll include that resolution in the resolution that was passed.
Yes,
Okay?
please.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, our public comments, as everyone knows, Commissioner Webb.
I just wanted to say, I'm looking up here from the audience, and I thought, had gone around the brain coming here, and I didn't get to say this, but what an awesome council you guys are. This is a great, great group. Jim, you have a harem. And frankly, I love to see it. I've never seen the women in the majority, and...
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our public comments are limited to 5 minutes. These are items that have not been previously discussed on the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Yes, please.
I'm supposed to be here
Oh, yes, absolutely. We looked for you.
I apologize for being late. I had to start time at 8 p.m. So 7 p.m. So,
Your microphone, yeah.
these are the packets.
This is Brenda Brotherton from the Senior Alliance.
Thank you for having me, and I apologize again for being late. Just want to take this opportunity to acknowledge Garden City and what the Senior Alliance does for the residents of Garden City. I am the county manager with the Senior Alliance, and we were founded in 1980 by Edward McNamara, and we are known as an area agency on aging, and there are 16 of those in the state of Michigan. And our mission is to empower people with needs to live with dignity in the community they choose by providing available services. Our service area is made up of 34 communities in western Wayne County, and we are funded by state and federal dollars. We have a $15 million budget, of which 93% of that, all of our funds go towards providing services going back into the community and providing the services for the clients, and 7% is administrative. So the nonprofit is something we take a lot of pride in, that we are able to maintain our costs administratively at such a low percentage. One of the programs that we're most known for is our Meals on Wheels program. And in the past year, for the residents of Garden City, we delivered over 8,000 meals to your citizens. And another service that was utilized by Garden City residents quite a bit was our information and assistance program and our Medicare and Medicaid, what we would call it a hotline, that offers information to help anyone that needs navigation through the Medicare and Medicaid system to find out whether or not they're eligible for services. It also provides assistance with services for providing food assistance, rent and utilities, and also housing. In the folder that you have, it has a list of all the expenses and the estimated costs that were given to the City of Garden City residents for the past year, and that totals over $288,000, of which the match calculation is about $2,000, which has been paid, and we appreciate the generosity of making that match payment towards our program and helping us to help your citizens. Also in your packet is information on our holiday meals program itself. The Meals on Wheels program does not deliver meals on certain holidays, so we have a program that we call Senior Alliance Holiday Meals, and we fund that, and that's on Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and what's the last holiday?
Easter.
New Year's. Yes. So that's in your packet, and we have volunteer opportunities for anyone who's interested in delivering meals or also working at any of our locations that the meals are distributed from. So we're happy to provide the services to your citizens, and if you have any questions, I'm available. And otherwise, there is a lot of information in the packet, as well as the phone numbers and our website and our Facebook page.
Okay, thank you so much for bringing us this information.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Samantha Baker. I'm a board member of the Garden City Figure Skating Club, and we just wanted to take a moment to thank Council and the Mayor for your support of our 34th annual competition, which we had at the Civic Ice Arena on March 7th and 8th. I'm happy to report that we had 167 skaters compete in 65 different events in freestyle, dance, and basic skills events. Skaters from all over Michigan were represented at our competition. We had skaters from Muskegon, Traverse City, Mount Pleasant, Rochester, St. Clair Shores, Westland, Dearborn, really just all over. Our club also had 10 skaters compete. We are very proud of Kelsey and Shelby Baker, Brittany Brown, Gabby Shabakis, Emily DeHaan, Carmen Foster, Cassidy and Zach Fulton, Alicia Sale, and Kylie Stokes. Kelsey Baker and Kylie Stokes placed first in their events, and Carmen Foster and Zach Fulton placed second in their events. So on behalf of all the skaters, we just want to say congratulations to them. And we also wanted to thank the parents, coaches, and skaters that volunteered numerous hours for setup and takedown. We distributed medals, posted results. We provided hospitality for the visiting coaches and judges. And we also wanted to thank the arena staff for their help. They posted the events on the TV in there so people could go and see on the skaters as soon as they were ready. And also to thank Great Lakes Maintenance for making the ice great. They did a good job helping us move the glass and break the ice and all that stuff. So many thanks to you guys for your support and making that happen for us. And I also wanted to let you know that our Garden City Figure Skating Club show is April 11th and 12th. And our theme this year is Calling All the Monsters. And the girls are working really hard, and Zach are working very hard. And it's Friday, April 11th at 7 and Saturday, April 12th at 1 p.m. and 7. It's a really good show. I've already seen it numerous times up there during practice. So if you guys could all come out if you'd like to. It's a really good show. I think you'd like it. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from our general public? Mr. Pister.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. As I was sitting there, I just happened to think that I should have come up earlier. April 2nd, the Planning Commission is having a public workshop.
Yes.
I think it's important, particularly for the public, if you have any ideas, if you have any thoughts, even any questions. Planning commissioners will be there. McKenna will be there with some displays. So I think it's pretty vital. Our 5 years are just about up with this master plan. As you know, it has to be done every 5 years. Okay, that's 6:30.
6:30. I have a question on the, how long will the survey for the planning commission, for the master plan be on the website, on the internet so that the people can fill it out? Do you know how long? They can still fill out the survey, correct?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if everyone even realizes there is a survey, but...
Well, they did have it on the city website as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think you put it on the water bills.
Yes, an announcement on the web.
Yeah, so I think that was very nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other residents that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Amanda Davis. Some of you I know very well, and some of you I haven't quite met yet. But I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of our whole family for the tremendous and overwhelming support we've gotten from the community during this really sad time in our family. And Gomer would have just been absolutely blown away by how many people came to see him and the beautiful flowers that were sent for him. So I just did want to say thank you for everything that you guys have done. So I wanted to say thank you. I appreciate that.
It was our pleasure. Thank you. Mr. Wallace?
Buddy Max. I want to thank Diane Webb for her comments and her work honoring Gomer. Gomer was a great friend, a great person that loved everybody in the council. He loved us all. He helped us all. Things you can remember, like when the skate park over there, Gomer's going to take you 3-wheel over and do a backflip. You know, memories never die. Memories never die. And he was a good man, good family, loved the city, and he loved his roots from Kentucky.
Yes, he did.
I did too. But anyway, I want to thank people for that. And I want to thank the DPW workers. Man, it's got to be hard to be laying maybe next to your soulmate or something and warm, cuddle it up, and have to put on 5 pounds of Carhartts and 8 pounds of boots and go out and crawl in a muddy hole. Oh, man. Think about it. I have a lot of phone calls and people really appreciate the BPW workers. They've really done a great job. Especially, this is the worst year I've ever seen for snow and ice. And you can imagine getting out of the bed and having to go and crawl in a muddy hole with all that weight on. I'd hate to do that. I admire them. And I think Mr. Sylvester, I have a good feeling for cops. I used to play and coach softball with all of them, the Macy's, the Bill Longs, and the Vinos, the Sandmans. Hey, we've got a great city with police, and we still got great police. They're great. They really are. That's what makes our city. That's what protects us. And I really appreciate them. And I want to go back and I want to make something clear that they didn't hear me right, but I was talking about the water bill, about the markup. And first of all, I want to tell you there's 44 million people in the United States that's 65 years and older. And out of that 44 million people, more than 23 million of them have income of under $18,000 a year. It's tough to live on that. I don't know how they do it, but they do. But anyway, the water, we paid 90 cents for 748 gallons from the truck. We paid $2.98 for sewage. It's marked up $6.09. So, okay. And we also put on to the low-end users and the average users 65 and over in Garden City. If you take the water, that's great software that we finally got to, that I feel sorry for Mrs. Bettis' group that had to use that. That software, the New World Systems, I know for a fact it was written in 1959 by IBM, and they did wonderful. And I've never been to City Hall and seen nobody love them. Never. But anyway, that's a lot of money. And if you add that $26.57 to it, these seniors got a huge increase. They really did. And they're low-end users, and they're the low people on the income. But that $26.57 is what people are crying more about that than anything else. They really are. It hurts them. You stop and think. You pay that, and you don't get a drop of water for it. So, but anyway, hopefully that we can, Chief Manager Murray is having that looked at, maybe we can reduce that a little bit, because that $26.50, people are really crying about that. It hurts them. You know, somebody living on $18,000 a year, it hurts them when they use 5 units. You know, it's not as much of the crown about the mark on the water, but the $26 extra charge for it. But anyway, I just want you to know, thank all you council people. You're a great bunch of people, and you're actually volunteering your time. I know, I mean, it's great because you don't need to get your gas money paid for. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there someone else in the public?
I wouldn't want to bring up about transferring the major street funds to local because,
You want to state your name, please?
David, because my street was done as a major street, but somebody dropped the ball. I don't want nobody on this council to get the blame, or the last couple of councils, this was years ago. Somebody dropped the ball and forgot to turn it in as a major street, even though it's widened as a major street. And I guess, since you transferred it from major to local, now you can come over and fix Elmwood. I'm tired of picking patients up on Elmwood. They keep bouncing them out of emergency vehicles coming down Elmwood between Inkster and Deary. It's terrible over there, especially at nighttime when ambulances come in. As good as the ambulance drivers are at local, Garden City, Inkster, Westland, about to turn their sirens off when they turn in. I still get the thump, thump, thump all night long. So, and you tried to patch it, but you know co-patch don't work. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money. It lasts a week at the most, and I got a ton of gravel over there now, I just swept up today. And somebody mentioned Thornton when they was talking about Gomer. And I know for a fact Gomer hauled coal out of Goose Creek and you had to come right through the middle of town. And this is a story the governor told me one time. I'm from down there too, so I know exactly what he meant. The mayor stepped out in front of him, but he had to slam his brakes on. And he was trying to get him to slow down coming through the middle of Neon there, which is, used to have a red light at one time, now it's only got a stop sign there. But Gomer was a real good friend, and I just loved him. And that's been all.
Thank you. Anyone else from the general public? Mr. Bacco?
If I could have 3 weeks ago, I would go out together. A kid had a dog. He took the coins, coins, and there was a thing with the cell phone, headphones. They were coins. They called the police 2 days later. I would help, like people look at me and smile. Smile. This was a thing. This was a thing at all. This department is the biggest drive in the world.
Mr. Bacco, did you take it to the chief?
Yeah, I told the police department. I even get this guy, his name and everything. This was a prominent web.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else from the general public? Okay, seeing none, let's move into the city manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few odds and ends for this evening. First, the survey to which Mr. Pistor alluded, the survey regarding our master plan, will close on April 6th. That is the closing date. So please get in and give us your input and your feedback. It's very valuable to us. I want to mention that MDOT, I believe with some surety this time, has announced a closure date for I-96.
Really?
Which is April 5th. That will affect between Newburgh and Telegraph. We'll see if they stick to that one. I realize this is far off, but I'm going to want to push this as much as possible between now and August. We're going to be collecting unwanted tires at the Maplewood Center. This is in conjunction with Wayne County. Saturday, August 23rd, there will be some rules. I didn't quite grasp all the rules, so I don't want to share any misinformation with you. But it'll be open to Garden City residents only. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to get rid of some of these tires laying around that sometimes just end up sitting out on our streets.
What's the date again?
August 23rd, and I will be mentioning it several more times, and we'll be publicizing it. We got that information today from Mr. Roney, who does a great job of staying on top of these things. We will be doing our next city-wide recycling shred on May.
Yeah, I forgot.
That's the first week.
Saturday?
It is a Saturday.
I believe it's the first week of May. I'm afraid to say the 5th. Third.
Third
Look
would
for
be
the
first
announcement
Saturday.
on Garden City
Yeah,
TV.
there you go. Look for the announcement. But we are moving forward with that, and I hope we do so much business that we're overwhelmed. The first one was promising, and again, this, to remind everybody, and I don't mind reminding everybody, this came out of, quite frankly, a mistake that the city made, and this is part of our continuing atonement. So Allison and I will be out there on that Saturday dealing with shredding. And I believe council is probably already aware, but Mr. Jim Reidner, the retired police chief from the city of Westland, is now the director, is that his title, of Nankin Transit. I have known Jim personally for many, many years. He is a man of integrity. I think he's a top-notch administrator, and I look forward to him doing some good things over there at Nankin Transit. And I had a remark I was going to make because I know Mayor Walker is watching this somewhere, but I'll just keep that to myself since I kind of enjoy doing this job. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. One question. Chief, on the shredding, is it for Garden City residents only?
Yes.
Garden City residents and businesses.
And we set, I think it was a 4-bag limit, and they can come right down Central and right past. You don't even have to get out of your cars. Some of Monica's wonderful volunteers help us load it from your car into the shredding event, and it's a good time to get rid of all the thousands of tax papers that you had gathered trying to get your taxes together, and so we set it up for after that.
Okay, great, thank you.
And that's the 3rd.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. Excellent. Councilmember Kerwin.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, City Manager, for telling the story about Mr. Reitner, although Mrs. King and I did hire Mr. Reitner.
Thank you.
And he is a real gentleman, and I think he'll, we've been at Nankin Transit without a director since July of last year. We've had a temporary person, but I think he's going to be on board. He is on board. I think he's going to be put us in the right place and get our budget squared away. Let me see. Sly, congratulations. I know you told me probably 10 years ago, the first time you were going to retire. And a couple of years later, then a few years later, but I'm glad you made it this far. Congratulations. Regarding Goldman, there, I guess, how would you sum it up? Very, very colorful gentleman. He was a real character, and if you didn't want to hear something funny or a joke, often don't talk to him because he was full of stuff, I'm telling you. But he's just a great, great guy, and just so the family knows, I know a lot of people that feel that way. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you. Councilmember McCarge.
Just to comment on the Meals on Wheels program at Maplewood. It's really such an excellent program. Some of these people that are receiving meals, they need the meals, but just as importantly, it might be the only contact they have with a person during that day. And right now I look out in the audience and I see the Partons, who are volunteer drivers, and our former councilman, Richard Gora, who delivered meals for many years. If we don't have volunteers, that program cannot continue. So if you have a day, a couple hours, one day a week even, or even if you want to be a sub, contact Maplewood Center. I know it would be greatly appreciated. And we do have 2 county commissioners here. I do remember being at meetings when the funding for the Meals on Wheels program was tenacious, to say the least. And the Wayne County Commission supported that program and made sure it was funded. So thank you to the commissioners too. That's it today.
Thank you. Councilmember King.
Bits and pieces. I do concur with you, Jim, regarding Jim Ridner. He's very impressive. Had a chance to talk to him afterwards. He's really on top of it. He's getting together as much as he can with the IT people so that he can get something going. They're really lacking in that. People are not aware, especially elderly people that need a ride or people that want to get a ride. Perhaps they're not quite able to drive anymore, whatever the reason might be. It only costs $3, believe it or not, and all you have to do is pick up the phone, but their advertising is very poor. So he's on top of that. He's going to put together a program so that you can actually do it much easier, either with a computer or via the phone, where you can get immediate satisfaction as far as finding out how it works. So that's coming, and as soon as we have more information on it, we'll definitely bring it around to our council and let you all know about it. Also, we have a lot of things going on. Actually, there's a Mardi Gras tomorrow at Maplewood for the senior citizens. Those of you who are senior should be aware of it, and actually it's a lot of fun to go to some of their doings. So if you have an opportunity to do it, it's from 11:30 till 3, and is it $10? 12, thank you very much. I knew I could get it out of you. And it's $12, and it's
might be sold out.
I don't think so, not yet.
Okay.
That's the only reason I'm mentioning it. But yes, there were some seats. And we have the vets, of course. We know all about the vets. Mr. LeBlanc, okay, all of you can be there, please do so. That's on the 25th from 5 to 9. We have the public workshop, I came prepared, and that's for April 2nd. And if you want to be there, it's at the police station. Please come on along. We have Lucky School Festival. Now this is the DDA, they put this together. They're having an arts, crafts, antiques, and more, and that's going to be down at the Farmers Market lot. And anybody still, is that not correct, can still get in, there's booths?
Yes, we're still looking for people that do arts and crafts.
Or
anyone who wants to come down and garage sale some stuff from home.
And so you can get, how big is this size, 10 by 10?
10 by 10.
10 by 10, you've got a space, you can bring your items, you can get something going there. And they also have a Garden City Flea Circus that isn't due until June 14th, so you've got time for another one. That's all I have.
Thank you. Clerk Treasurer Bettis, anything this evening?
I do have one thing I just wanted to mention. I should have done it, excuse me, under community announcements, but the Garden City Relay for Life Checkmate team, which is the City Hall employees, are having a fundraiser. It all benefits the American Cancer Society, as the relay does, and it's for your Easter dinner. If you are interested in a honey baked ham, if you pay $25 for a gift certificate, we give you a gift certificate for $25. So if you're gonna get a ham anyway, come and get it from me, come see me, or any of the Relay for Life Checkmate team members. And they will be donating $5 to the Cancer Society fundraiser, and you won't be out of a dime. Best donation ever. Also, just because I know the mayor is sitting somewhere really warm, and I don't like that, I just want to say that the Spartans are going to kick butt this evening at 10 o'clock. All right, thank you.
And you were able to get away with that one.
Yes.
Councilmember Sisirski.
I just have one thing tonight, Your Honor, just a reminder to all the residents that it might not feel like it outside, but spring is here, and composting will resume next week, April 1st. Keep your composting 5 feet away from your normal garbage. If you have branches, they need to be less than 4 feet in length and bundled up, and if you need composting stickers for your cans, the city clerk's office has them. I believe possibly DPS has them, but I know for sure that the city clerk's office has them, so that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Squires.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Ms. Brotherton for the updated packet from the Senior Alliance. In the past, I've had residents call, and I've been able to refer to that, and happy that I had it, and so being updated is great. Thank you. Slide, thank you for your service to Garden City. Congratulations on your retirement, and now you can start your new job with a honey-do list, right? And finally, I just want to thank everyone for all the kind words and thoughts and prayers and cards and everything for my family and I due to the passing of my mom. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sly, you've served the city of Garden City with fairness and honor, and I'll tell you what, your shoes, the boot prints they left behind are going to be pretty hard to fill. We thank you for all that you've done over the past 35 years. Comment, thinking of the mayor, I hope he brings back some sun for opening day. That's next week, Monday. We sure could use some sun about right now. And just a quick comment on Gomer. He did his best to keep the city on the right path over the past years. And now I know that Garden City we have our own guardian angel watching over us, making sure that we are on the right path. So thank you to his family. And with nothing else to come before council, I call this meeting adjourned.